Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we are here talking about Action Comics 1000. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're going to talk about the longest running comic book ever of our time, the comic book of the first superhero. We're talking Action Comics 1000. I've also got the hardcover over here. We'll put that down. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's talk Action Comics 1000. Is it worth your money? This book has a cover price of $7.99. $7.99 is not cheap. It is double the price of a regular Marvel comic book. I think most of theirs are $3.99. Everything that's not bi-weekly at DC is $3.99. The bi-weekly ones are $2.99. But so $8. Is it worth your $8? Depends. I think depends. Yes, there is a couple of pages back here with Jim Lee and Brian Michael Bendis that are kicking off what seems to be the Bendis' story. But that really is going to start in Man of Steel #1, which I think comes out next week or next month. Either one of those. They're both pretty close right now. But, there's like 8 pages of that back here. But you're not really picking that up for this. You're kind of picking it up for the number. And there are a ton of other stories in this book, which I would call vignettes. But there are a ton of other ones that are good to mediocre to really good. So it depends on what you want out of a Superman book. If you want a Superman book that's going to remind you who Superman is, if you're a Man of Steel hater and you're a Christopher Reeve lover in terms of the Superman movies, this book is for you. If you're a Man of Steel guy and you want action and things like that, this book might not be for you because there's not a ton of action, Superman punching things in it until the very end where Bendis and Jim Lee show up. But other than that, the quality of the vignettes, of the stories in this book are really, really good. I have to say, I bought this, I wanted a physical copy, and I gotta say about the physical copy, it's really well done. It's kind of like the Prestige format series of, yesteryear that DC was doing where they were like square bind these 40, 50 page stories. This is 80 pages, 1 page for every year that Superman's been around. And it is square bound. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little floppy. It's not as hard as one might think. It's not like a cardstock cover, but it is square bound. It does say Action Comics 1000 right here on the spine, which is nice. So you can put it in your trade paperback rack, which is where mine's going to go. Maybe in a bag and board. We'll see. But since I don't have many single issues, when I found out that this was going to be square bound, I immediately was like, well, I'll go give this a shot. And it's 1000. It's special, come on. It's the first comic book ever to hit that number, which is cool. This has been around since 1938. Now, if you want to talk numbering, this has not been running monthly since 1938. It has, but if you do the months between, the month he premiered and this month in 2018, it's not 1,000 months, basically. So in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, I think, there was Action Comics Weekly. I think it was the 80s. Where they ran Action Comics every single week. So I don't know how long they did that. It's a couple months, I believe, maybe a year. So that added a bunch of numbers in here, right? And then with the new 52, we restarted at 1. So all that numbering is in here. I think that was like 50 issues or something like that running monthly. And then when we had the DC Rebirth thing 2 years ago, that's been running bi-weekly. So that's been running bi-weekly every month for 2 years. So that's another 50 issues, stuff like that, added to this numbering. So that's how we got to 1,000 before we hit 1,000 months of continuous publishing. So that's kind of where the number comes from. So let's get into what's in the book. Is there a main story in this book? Probably not. There's not really a main story. There's nothing that's setting up Superman for the next foreseeable future. There is the Bendis stuff in the back, but again, it's only like 6 to 8 pages. Although the art is beautiful, it is Jim Lee, Alex Sinclair, Scott Williams on inks. It's gorgeous. You can't resist that stuff sometimes. But it does start up with a story by Dan Jurgens about people wanting to say thank you to Superman. It's got the usual Dan Jurgens look, usual Dan Jurgens team, and it's a really, really cool story. I really like that one. There is, another standout in here. I think CBR ran an article that said it's 15 pages. So here's 15 pages by Patrick Gleason and Peter Tomasi doing the writing. 15 full-page spreads covering Superman's history and adventures throughout the 80 years, done in different styles, costumes, inks, all that stuff, depending on what the year is and what he's portraying. There's a beautiful, look at this Dark Knight Returns page. Look at that. That's beautiful. So that, it was really well done as well. So they put the strong stuff up front. There is a weird thing in here where they said, here's 4 pages from Curt Swan that nobody's ever seen. Well, not really. It's 4 pages of Curt Swan not featuring Superman with inks by Butch Guice, and Butch Guice makes it look like Norm Rapmund, or Butch Guice, basically. It doesn't look like Curt Swan for the first 4 pages. And then on the last page, miraculously, here's Superman with Curt Swan inks. So that does look like a Curt Swan image with modern coloring. The rest of it does not. So I don't know, I can't see Curt Swan in these other pages here. So that was a little weird. Another standout story, here's one from Coipel. That was okay, about the guy who got his car wrecked, Jeff Johns, Richard Donner. That was alright. There is a weird one here from Tom King, art by Clayman, about Superman's called Of Tomorrow. And it's about Superman basically at the end of the Earth. Not the end of the universe, but the end of the Earth. So if you watch Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's talking about when the Earth will die and be encompassed by the sun. When the sun grows so large, it will pull Earth into it, from its regular orbit, or expand to where Earth is, kind of meet in the middle kind of thing. So Earth's about to be, engulfed by the sun. It's been dead for a few billion years. Superman's still around, looking young as hell. That was a little weird. But I will say the story by, who wrote this? The John Cassaday artwork story by him and Brad Meltzer. Basically, it's like Faster Than a Speeding Bullet is what it's called. That was a good story. So a lot of really cool vignettes in this. I would definitely check it out if you're a big-time Superman fan. Obviously, you've probably already picked this up. If you're kind of on the fence, I would encourage you. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Most of it is pretty good. So worth your $8 for 80 pages. That's, $1 per 10 pages. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good bundle here. Even though it's not one continuous story, it's not like Countdown to Infinite Crisis, where that was 80 pages of one whole story. But all in all, this is a really good anniversary issue. Really, really good. Considering that there wasn't like a big story to wrap up in Action Comics from the Rebirth line, and they didn't launch Bendis' stuff here, I'm well pleased and surprised about what they were able to turn out in this issue. So that we're not done yet. There is also the issue of the matter of this Action Comics Deluxe Edition hardcover. So on the spine here and on the front it says Action Comics 80 Years of Superman. So this is, 400 pages, 385 pages of Action Comics only. These are all reprints. Action Comics 1000, I got the Lee Bermejo cover, is not in this book. So this is everything up to 1000 is game to be in here. There's first appearances in here. There is Action Comics 1 and 2. What's unfortunate about this book is that they didn't solicit what was in here as far as particular issues. So let me just read them off to you. We've got Action Comics 1, Action Comics 2, Action 42, 64, an unpublished one from Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, Action Comics 241, 242, 252, I think probably the first appearance of Supergirl, 285, another 285, that's weird, okay, Action 309, Action 419, Action 44, 554, 584, 655, that's 1990, 662, 800, Action Comics number 0 from the New 52, and a new story with Paul Levitz and Neil Adams called The Game, which is the last in here. It's about Superman and Lex Luthor. So, basically all of these, except for Action Comics number 0, I have not read. So I was down to pay this. This is a $30 hardcover. So that's not bad. You can get it on digital for half that price, actually, if you're interested in that. But I wanted the kind of keepsake collectible. It does have a Jim Lee art on here, but without the dust jacket, it's all comic covers. But what is unfortunate, I think, what they should have done is like what Marvel does in their big 100 anniversary issues is, somewhere put all the teeny little covers, 1,000 covers of Action Comics. If that would be cool to page through. It is kind of cool on the inside. It's got the all the different logos of Action Comics that have been here for 80 years. So that's kind of neat to look at as well. But you're not really buying these for the reprints. I kind of wanted to buy it because there's a couple of essays in here about the importance of Superman and what he means to people by, let's just go in here and again, Jules Pfeiffer, Laurel Siegel Larson, Paul Levitz, Tom DeHaven, Marv Wolfman, How I Saved Superman, that's in here, Larry Ty, Gene Luen Yang, who was writing Superman with John Romita Jr., the Truth storyline in the New 52 there. And I think that's it in terms of essays and stuff like that. So it's a celebration. So if you're into that, check it out. If you don't want to pay full cover price, I'd say pick up the digital version, or maybe it'll be in a discount. I'm sure they'll have it at cons throughout the years for a big discount, things like that. Maybe a half price trades book, booth this con season will have it. But so that's that. Now they solicited this first, not Action Comics 1000. So a lot of people did order this thinking it was a deluxe edition of 1000 as well as all the additional materials and reprints in here. But that's not the case. So you got to pick up both if you want the whole shebang. But that is our Superman celebration for this year. Happy birthday, Superman. 80 years, 1,000 issues. What an amazing accomplishment. So congratulations to everybody at DC putting all this stuff together. I'm sure it was a lot of hard work, a lot of great writers, great artists. I really did enjoy Action Comics 1000, so I do encourage you to pick it up. And that's that. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what your favorite story was out of Action Comics 1000. Which artist did you like the best? Which one surprised you the most? Let me know down in the comments. Please like, comment, share, subscribe in the video and all that stuff. And I will see you guys next time in the funny pages.